Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a truly special online event today. It is called How to Channel Your Divine Light, attuning to higher consciousness for deeper self-acceptance and soul-led guidance. My name is Stephen Dinan. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network. And one of the things that's most fascinated me over the years is being able to access higher intelligence in the form of guides and to really channel that through. It's something that I've actually practiced and developed myself. I'm not a public around that, but it's been a long process of beginning to open the channels, tune the frequencies, get access to some other dimensions of guidance, and really experience the benefits of that. And it's been something that's been so helpful for me personally, professionally, and really also in addressing the collective challenges of our day. So we're going to get to do this with a very experienced, very senior channel on the planet. Her name is Mabu Ishtar. She's a spiritual mentor and teacher, and she really has developed quite a body of work around channeling ascended masters, and doing so in a really grounded way. So Ishtar, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for having me. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to dive in, and we have a very special channeling from Mary Magdalene that's going to be part of this hour. And I also want to let everyone know that we are going to have a chance to go much deeper with Ishtar in a new course called Channeling Divine Light Through Your Heart Portal. We'll share more about that towards the end of the hour if you want to develop more of these skills yourself. So Ishtar, I would love to begin our time together with a little bit about your journey. I know it's pretty extensive to begin to do the work that you're doing now and they've been doing for decades. And so I want to share a little bit about that so people have some context.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, I guess to start with, I've been always connected to spirit. Even since a child, I was very intuitive and very clairvoyant, if you will. And, I read tarot and astrology and was reading Carl Jung when I was 12. So I have been very connected to that. But then I had quite a few years where went into my career, went into work, and really cut a lot of that out. And it wasn't until a little bit later in my late 40s, really, that spirit called to me again and asked me to reconnect. So I started following what spirit was asking me to do. And my intention at the time was to develop healing practice and work with energy, because I was very connected to energy and energetic flow. So I did lots of courses, Reiki and pranic healing. I'm an advanced pranic healer. I'm a Reiki master. Crystal dreaming, which was one of the places where I really went very, very deep and was told at one stage that I would definitely be a channel. But the thing was, I was never interested in channeling, and I was always quite skeptical about it, to be honest with you. I often call myself the reluctant channel. But I did a mystery school with a teacher named Koala, who was a deep channel, and I went to do that school because I wanted to learn to channel energy for healing. That was the whole purpose of that school, to develop my skills a little bit more, because I discovered her as a channel, and she was a very profound channel. And when I first discovered her, I was at a retreat and everyone was talking about these beings, Lord Maitreya, Kuan Yin, Sananda, people like that. And I had no idea who they were talking about. And I actually, being very aware of myself, sort of just nodded my head and didn't say anything, and sort of raced home and had to Google who these beings were. I thought they were real people. I didn't realize they were actually ascended masters or spiritual beings in the etheric realms, in a higher dimensional etheric realm. And of course, when I discovered that, I was quite amazed and didn't know much about it at all. But I continued working with this woman called Koala. And so I did the school. And at the end of it, I connected with Saint Germain. I was running meditation groups at that stage, had been for quite a few years. And during this meditation group, Saint Germain came to me. And because I knew the name and knew who he was, I wasn't surprised. And he spoke very clearly to me in my mind and said, I'm Saint Germain, I've come to you, I want to offer this group a gift. And I thought in my mind, well, it'll be a gift of light or a gift of, maybe a sacred code or something like that. And I said, how wonderful that is. And he said, yes, he said, everyone can ask a question and I will answer it. And I must admit, I said to him, well, I don't know how you're going to do that. How do you answer questions? And he said, through you, beloved. And this beloved said, well, no, 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 not through me. You know, this is not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. And he said, yes, yes. He said, it will be easy. And I said, no, I was very reluctant, no. And he said, look, ask the group and see what they all say. So I followed his advice and I asked the group. And of course, they were all very, very encouraging and said, yes, yes, please, please do this. So he said, look, it'll be easy. And what happened was just extraordinary. And it's nearly 24 years since this occurred, or 25 years now. And what happened, even to this day, brings goosebumps to me. He came, and what happened was this wave of energy just moved through me this way. And everything just went still. I had no fear. I just went into a very deep trance, and he started to speak through me and went around the group and started answering questions to everybody. I had no idea what was going on, what he was saying. I was just in this extremely deep trance. And then I had my head down. I remember very clearly my head was down on my chin, and that was all. I just was in a deep trance. And then halfway through, I came out of my trance and I said, oh, no, 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 I feel really sick. I can't do this. And then the next minute he said, yes, beloved, you can. And he then brought this wave of energy through me again, very powerful. And I went back into trance again. And he completed the group answering all their questions. And there was a reasonable group of about 30-something people there. So they were all very excited. I had no idea what he'd said. And at the end of it, you know, that was, I thought, oh, well, I've done that. That's fine. But a few days later, Saint Germain came back and he said to me, well, we want you to begin to channel wisdom from us, you know, messages from us, and to groups. And we want you to do it on a Friday night at 6 p.m. And of course, I said, well, no, I can't do that. I said, Friday nights are not a good night. People want to go out. They don't want to come here and sit and listen to channels. And I said, 6 p.m. is not a good time because everyone's finishing work. They won't want to do this. I had every excuse you could imagine I put forward, not wanting to do it. And he said, no, 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 beloved, everyone will come. Please just try. And so I did try. I did what I was asked to do. And amazingly enough, at least 30 or 40 people turned up on the first night. And for 6 years, we channeled every Friday night except for Christmas and Easter. And we did that for 6 years. And many people came in our community. And then one day they said, no, that's it. We're not doing any more. And so what happened was that during those 6 years, somebody turned up to record all the channels and somebody turned up to transcribe them all. I didn't ask, they just arrived. They'd been very guided to do this. And so for 6 years, everything that was offered was transcribed and recorded. And then about a year after the masters asked me to stop, they said, now we're going to put this into a school. You're going to put these transcripts into a manual, and we're going to create this school called the Master's Way. And there are 3 levels: the path of light, the path of love, and the path of mystery. And each level will be a 1-year course. And so I certainly followed through. We did the path of light, we did the path of love, and I taught that around the world. It's in 2 languages, in English and French. And then the path of mystery came. It was a bit later coming because what I was waiting for was not the transcripts, but for the flow, because you can imagine over 6 years, there were hundreds and hundreds of channels. But the masters had particular lessons that they wanted to go in that weren't in the same order, how they came through, but they had particular messages that they wanted to go through. So each 1-year course had 33 lessons in it of channels and work to be done. And so for 10 years, I taught that work. And then I had teachers taking it on and teaching it as well. And so since then, of course, I've done a school called Open to Channel, which the masters asked me to do. They asked me to channel that once they gave me a list of 12 names of people to invite, some of whom I'd never heard of, but other people had. And so 7 of those 12 came, and we sat and channeled live this work for a year. And that work was recorded and transcribed, and that became a manual for Open to Channel. It's an advanced work for students who really want to open their channel more deeply. And then after that, a few years later, another course came through called The Path of the One Heart. And that's probably, I think, the most profound course the masters have given me. And in that, I worked with 12 what we call Christed masters who taught the Essenes. And that's for light workers who really want to anchor their light and open their mission work. And so that's a 2.5-year course. And it's all channeled. It's all wisdom from the masters, given live, always in group. It's the way it works for me with the masters. I work with a council of 33. During those 6 years, I had to channel each one of them 3 times to braid with them, as they called it. And that braiding experience was quite painful. It was this huge amount of energy that would go down the back of my head and down my spine and into the earth. And it was actually like really intense light that would be flowing through me. And for the first year or so of that work, I was in trance. And then after braiding more, I could open more without going into trance so deeply and channel the masters. Now, a question a lot of people ask me is, well, why you? And I asked the masters that because being a reluctant channel and not really wanting to do it, it was my first question, why me? And they told me that I had channeled them in other places, not on Earth. I had channeled the masters to help a group of souls. And so I already had a contract with them to do this work. And that's why they came to me. And they only came to me, of course, when I was ready to open to this. Yeah. So
What a truly amazing journey. And thanks for being a reluctant channel and bringing all that through. And there's so much that we could go into in terms of the different masters and different teachings, but let's really focus on the theme of today is being really opening to be a channel for our own divine light. So maybe share a little bit about what is the divine light according to what's moved through you, and how do you begin to braid with that, channel it in a more substantial way than just kind of visualizing it.
Yeah. Well, the masters, one of their biggest teachings, Stephen, is that we are all divine spirit. And there's not one being on this planet that's not part of divine spirit. And we're all part of the great source energy. You can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it source. I often say to my students, you can call it Fred. It doesn't really matter what you call it. But it's this huge creation energy that we're all a part of. And it flows in each and every one of us. It's source. It's our source energy. And we all have it there. And we are these incredibly powerful beings that are the eternal soul, the eternal self that is connected always to that, what I call source energy, creation energy. And it flows through all of us. It's why we are such creative beings. We're constantly wanting to create. And that's the whole energy of source, is constantly creating over and over again. And humanity is that. And so we create through our free will. We create through the choices we make all the time. But the thing is that so many of us have forgotten to connect to that divine source energy, that divine spirit that we are. And the master's message is always that. They bring us back to that all the time, to remember who we are, and to remember that we're not just the ego mind or this conscious personality that invariably is unconscious, but we are this deeper being, and we have many layers, many levels to us. And at this point in time, there's a part of us that's sitting in the density of planet Earth, but there's many other parts of us that have high vibrational frequency and have great wisdom to share with us if we're willing to listen. So that's the message from the masters, is please open and listen to that part of you.
So it sounds like it's like the most important thing is not to channel other beings, is to really channel the highest dimension of ourself.
Yeah. And that's the message that the masters come to. You know, this is the greatest gift that you can give yourself, is to allow yourself to connect with you, with that higher consciousness of you, and receive that wisdom and the gifts that that part of you, we call it the higher self, it doesn't matter what you call it, we call it the higher consciousness, the divine spirit of you, and to allow that part of you to be present. And that part of you does not force itself on you. It will step back if you're not open to it. And just wait patiently. It's very patient. It doesn't go away from you because it's part of who you are, but it's not going to step forward unless you invite it. And this is the whole purpose of this work, is to remind people to open and allow that divine spirit to be present in everything they do. In their life, whether you're washing the dishes, whether you're out playing with your kids, whether you're at work, no matter where you are, just simply allow that part of you to be present and to participate in your life. And one of the big things I think that this speaks to is when you allow that, and it is an allowance, it's a choice, then you never feel alone. You're always connected to something greater than your ego or your mind and all the programs that sit in that mind. You always feel more connected to the world around you, to nature, to the earth, to spirit. There's a sense of peace within you because that beautiful divine part of you is always at peace. So the more you allow it to be present, the more peace you hold within yourself. And you can sense it. It's palpable.
How do we sort of reduce some of the kind of the intensity of what's happening on the surface, the sort of like the storms of human personality, so that we can open to be more receptive to those gentler but higher frequencies?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, but it really is important to work with the mind, and we're going to talk about that in the course that I'm doing later, and in more depth about how you can really come to understand the programs and beliefs you hold. The masters have always said, with humanity, with humans, we have all these beliefs that guide us, that determine our choices in life, and from those choices determine our reality. And so the thing is, they say that 80% of those beliefs we don't need, and they're not ours. We never chose them. So many of them are beliefs that come from our ancestral past, that come from our family, that come from our peers, from our education, from our work, from our study, from the world around us, of course now from social media. All of those things contribute to what makes up the human mind and the human belief system and programming. But that's all in that mental energy, and that determines our emotions, that determines our choices. But it's only what we've attuned to, what we've chosen to bring in. And most of the time we've done that very unconsciously. So the masters often say to us, do a review every year of your belief systems and go through them and have a look and see which ones you would choose today. And if you won't choose it today, then let it go. It's not going to serve you.
So there's kind of a pruning of belief systems. So the belief systems can introduce a bit of friction or between ourselves and our higher dimensions, it sounds like.
It certainly does. It certainly does. And there's lots of other parts of us that do that. Our belief systems, what we carry forward from past lives, also do that. What we call old karma also create those blocks. But our beliefs are very strong, and they drive so much of our reality today. And it's very important to look at those beliefs.
I want to also ask you about self-acceptance and the sort of whole process of integrating different aspects of ourselves, and how important is that for the process of channeling our higher dimensions?
Well, one of the biggest things that closes our channel stream down, and we're going to talk about the whole channel stream, and it's a stream of energy. The masters often call it a river of light that flows through us to our spirit. And on that river of light can be lots of big rocks, can be lots of big trees, that have turned up there. There can be dams that have blocked parts of that river off. And all of those things contribute to that. And one of the biggest things is when we judge ourselves, our lack of self-worth, our lack of belief in ourselves or trust in ourselves. It shuts our heart down. As soon as we go into negativity about ourselves, the gateway to that higher consciousness closes, and our whole energy goes into this contraction, and we don't have that big flow open anymore. So it's so important to allow that to be open so that we can receive what we need to receive without all those filters that block everything. So it's one of the biggest things, I think, is for today and for today's world, is to really come into self-acceptance. And when we're talking about self-love, I'm not talking about just going and having a nice massage and having your hair done, or, you know, wearing some clothes that make you look good and feel good. You know, all those things are great, but that's not self-acceptance and self-love. Self-love is really accepting yourself just where you are right now in this moment. And it's so important to live in that moment of who you are and not to judge who you are. And one of the things the masters have told myself and my students for so long is that everything you are today has come about from an experience, something you experienced, and you've created a belief or a consciousness around it. Yet that experience has been there to teach you something. And if you can just take a moment, instead of reacting to that experience again and again and again, but just take a moment to consider what that experience has really taught you about you. Because often in experiences, we're looking outside to blame or to judge or even to blame self. But what has it really taught you about you? What has it taught you about the gifts that you hold? And what can you be grateful for in that experience? And so,
Beautiful.
yeah, and it's a beautiful teaching to really come into that gratitude of your own gifts and to start to practice that in your life.
Mm. Well, there's so much we could go into in the different teachings, and I know that part of the magic of this hour is going to be to actually have you enter into a channeling state and bring through a message from Mary Magdalene. I know that you want to have a little preparation for that as well. So why don't we enter into the more experiential transmission portion here now?
Okay, that's beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. So what I wanted to share with everyone is a little visualization first before I go into channel. And after it, I'll go straight into channel. We're going to bring through Mary Magdalene. She's sitting here with us now. And I just want to say to everybody, I channel a Council of Masters 33, and I will talk about this later on in the course. But when one steps forward, they're supported by the whole group. It's a co-creative exercise. So it's not just one being, it's the whole council of beings that are around us. So what I wanted to say was, you know, what we're talking to is when we acknowledge our divine light, when we choose to accept that we are divine light, what would happen to this world if every being, every human being, because all the animals already have done this, but what about all the human beings who have free will and can choose in every moment? What if they all chose to accept their divine light? How would that change our world if we did that? So I'm going to ask everybody just to close your eyes for a moment, just to close your eyes. And I just want you to visualize planet Earth. Just visualize planet Earth in front of you, our beautiful, beautiful world that we live on, that gives so much to us. Not only life, but joy and peace and wisdom, love, support, nourishment. And just take a moment just to see that beautiful planet Earth in front of us. And just in your mind's eye, I want you just to visualize or imagine, however you work, just how planet Earth looks right now, with the pillars of light of humanity on that planet. Just how many pillars of light are really ignited on this planet today, in this moment. Just to visualize that. I mean, pillars of light that are truly open, activated, conscious, aware, expanded. And just visualize that for a moment, not with judgment or any negativity, just seeing the light that has been activated here on the planet at this time. And then with your next breath, I want you just to imagine or visualize what planet Earth would look like if every human being chose to activate consciously their pillar of light. How would planet Earth look then? Would it be different? What would happen to our beautiful planet Earth if we all chose, through our free will, to expand and embrace our divine spirit and activate that beautiful pillar of light that we each are? To really activate that power of light that each one of us holds within us. How would planet Earth look if we all chose to do that? And I'm going to leave you with that visualization as we call now to Mary Magdalene, who wishes to share with you today. So I'm just going to ask you all just to stay with that energy. Open your hearts, open your minds, and just sit within your heart energy and just breathe deeply. Nothing for you to do. Just allow yourself to receive, to be present. We come now in loving light, blessing all hearts that have chosen to open to the divine light that they are. We bring our divine light to meet your divine light and ask you simply, dear one, to open your hearts to meet us as we come to touch you with our divine light, with our blessing, and to embrace you in the divine frequency of our love. For we come to each one of you to remind you of that which you are. We seek not for you to be other than that which you are, to simply be the divine light of your being. And that calls for no belief, no action. Dear one, it only asks of you to be that which you are already. Divine light, divine love. and to embrace this truth as your own. For we come and we observe you. We see your light, beloved ones. For we seek not for darkness. We seek only for the light of you, beloved hearts. We seek only to honor that which you are, and to call to you each one to embrace that which you are. For we cannot do this for you. It is for you to choose this for yourself, to choose to be that which you are, and to let go that which you are not. Seek not for the more of you. Simply sit with that which you are. Chase not the diamond in the sky, beloved one, for the diamond is already within you, sitting in your heart, part of you, waiting for you to embrace that which you are and to acknowledge the light of you. We come, beloved ones, for we understand the road, the journey can challenge you. But we come to let you know that you walk not this journey alone. We walk beside you, and we will hold your hand and guide you. We will remind you in each moment of the pure light of your being and call to you time and again to embrace this pure light and to choose to be that which you are already. Divine light, divine love, as one with all that is. So fear not, beloved ones, for the journey is supported. On the journey you are held. On the journey you are impressed. And indeed, dear ones, always loved and blessed. We give thanks for you, for the light of you. Honor the gift that you are, and treasure the gift of you. For blessed are you. Blessed are you. Blessed are you.
Thank you for bringing through that beautiful message.
Thank you, Stephen.
I want to ask not so much about the content, but about your process and when you are entering into that state and bringing through a voice, such as Mary Magdalene's voice there. What's opening and shifting your being now after having done this for many decades?
It's so much easier now for me because I guess because I've been doing it for such a long time and I'm so connected that it's very easy to drop into that state now. It's always present with me and I'm always conscious of it being there. Um, and it's what I do. And when I go into that state, I drop very deeply into the deeper consciousness of my own being. And I let go the mind because I can't be in my mind. I can't be thinking of what's being said. And if I let my mind go, my mind was thinking that Mary Magdalene would give a very different message to the message she just gave. And my mind would be talking about what it thought Mary Magdalene should be saying. But I don't go there anymore. A long time ago, I
Mm,
did. And my mind would be having many conversations while the masters were
mhm,
talking. But now I just go into a deep place within me and stay there while they speak through me.
mm. Are you aware of the whole talk, or are you still kind of more in a deep trance and not always tracking what's being said?
Yeah, when I first come out, I can remember a few little things, but usually within 5 minutes it's gone because the mind has had no attachment to it. Um, but no, not really, not much
Hmm.
attachment to it. Mm.
Hmm. And since there's quite a number of beings that you ascended masters that you work with, like does each have a very distinctive, like and it was a very different cadence and to the voice and kind of a little sing-songy quality with Mary Magdalene's voice? Is that say consistent over time with
Yeah,
different beings?
yeah. To be honest, I think they had more of a stronger sort of different voice or accent earlier on in the early days, more so, less so now. But I don't channel all of the group anymore vocally. Mary Magdalene and Maitreya are probably the two I channel more than anyone else now, because
Hmm.
I've been working with them for a long time. For a long time, it was Saint Germain. I channeled Saint Germain for many, many years, and many others. And I will channel others from time to time, but there are certain ones that I channel more regularly than the whole
Hmm.
council. But the whole council's there. They're not. They're all around me. They all.
Hmm. And do you find that each one has like sort of domains of expertise or particular areas that they have the most mastery in and that that's what they want to teach on?
Yes, and I mean it's like us. This is what they teach us, that they've got particular masteries that they have honed over, eons, and not all of these masters have lived on the earth, and so they have particular gifts that they want to share with humanity, that is required at this time, that's needed right now, to bring humanity into more centeredness, into more consciousness and awareness, and so each of these masters will hold a particular gift. And when with my schools, for example, the Master's Way School, each student gets assigned 3 masters that I channel for them. And each of those masters have a particular gift. And so through the 3 years of the school, they will be working with one of those masters in each year. That although all 3 are present, they will be particularly working with that master because
Hmm.
there's particular gifts that they really need to learn themselves, and that master will bring those gifts to them. Mm.
Well, it's truly fascinating the process of working with all 33 in this council and bringing through different, very distinct beings and voices like Mary Magdalene's. I want to go circle back to the whole theme around channeling our own divine light. Is the process different for really accessing these higher dimensions of our own self and divine light than with some of these other masters?
Well, it's a lot easier.
Hmm.
I channel my own higher self quite regularly these days, and I didn't for a long time because I was channeling the masters. But about 10 years ago, the masters encouraged me to channel my higher self, which is Inyasa Mabu Ishtar. And so I've been channeling my own higher self for quite some time. And I have to say, it's much easier than channeling the Ascended Masters because it's much closer to you. That frequency, that energy is so much part of who you are. And this is what it's so important to learn about, is that this is in your own stream of consciousness. And there's parts of you that have many gifts to share with you that they have also mastered in other lifetimes, in other places. And so they're willing to share that with you if you're willing to open to it. Yeah.
In your upcoming course, you're going to be focusing a lot on moving the divine light through the heart portal. I just ask before we even start talking about the course, like, why is the heart portal so important to open in terms of bringing this light through us to others?
Because we're talking about the channel stream of consciousness. And many people, in the old days, tried to channel through the third eye and the pineal and through the crown, through that energy of the mind. But the thing is the channel stream actually flows through the heart portal, which is the chakra. But that heart chakra in our whole system of chakras, and we have a very large system of chakras, not just 7, but we have a very big system of chakras. It connects to all the energy bodies of our being and all the consciousness of our being. And all of that energy, all that consciousness flows through the heart chakra. So when you go into the heart chakra, it's like dropping into huge dimensions of different consciousness of you. And so you can go, it's its own universe. And everything flows through that portal. And it is a portal. And it needs to be activated regularly, like all portals.
Well, let's talk more explicitly about your upcoming course, since it's a really unique opportunity to distill the wisdom that you've learned from these decades of channeling and bringing in these higher messages and to really apply that in how we open our own channel. So Ishtar has agreed to teach this brand new course for Shift. It's called Channeling Divine Light Through Your Heart Portal. Release resistance and resolve karma to open your stream to higher guidance. You can find it at the URL channelyourdivinelight.com, channelyourdivinelight.com. It's a 7-week program. It's going to be very experiential and also build skills so that you can really open these deeper octaves in yourself. So Ishtar, I'd love for you to share about some of what you have for intentions for what people will come away with. And let's go through the modules, give a tour of what's coming.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I'm very excited about sharing this course. I've been teaching people about channeling for a long, long time, Stephen. And it's about really that deep connection to yourself. It's going into that higher consciousness of you and really connecting to that. And what you're going to come out of is understanding that you have got a higher consciousness. You can connect with it and you can begin to bring it through and to work with it in your life every day. And when you're guided by that higher consciousness instead of the ego mind, instead of that belief system or programming that we have or our emotions, then what's going to happen is you'll find much more ease and grace in your life and you'll reach more higher potential. And so learning to do this is really important for humanity.
So module 1 goes into connect with the Ascended Masters for guidance.
Yes. Well, I'm going to talk about that because connecting with the Ascended Masters and you can not channel them like I'm doing, but just sitting and calling them in your meditation. And I will show you how to do that because they will support you on this journey and they will support you on your whole life journey if you allow it. But I'm also going to talk about the energies of the masters and how they work and what master would be ideal for you to connect to and why, because each of them hold those particular gifts. And in this module, I'm also going to be doing another live channel from Lady Mary. And I've got to share this with you, Stephen. Lady Mary is the most beautiful energy. I first channeled her many, many years ago, sitting under a tree with a group of women. And as I channeled her, I sat there and just tears came down my face the whole time I channeled. It was just such a heart-opening energy. And even today, I love her energy. She just brings the heart opening so clearly. Yeah.
Lovely. Module 2 then goes into open your channel stream to connect more deeply with your divine spirit.
So this is a little bit more of the technical way of channeling, if you will, just really understanding what we're working with in the energy. So we're working with the auric field and to really understand the 12 energy bodies of the auric field, which some may have heard of and some may not, but there are 12 energy bodies, and each of those energy bodies, simply by their name, hold particular consciousness. And we're going to talk about particularly the 7 lower energy bodies, because that's where anything that's blocking your channel or your connection to spirit will be sitting. And we're going to talk about that as well, and about how to recognize what you're channeling each day, because we all channel. Every single one of us is a channel. The question is, what are you actually channeling, and where is it coming from? And so we're going to look at the frequency of that, and is it coming from which energy body? And usually through 2 or 3 of the lower energy bodies is what most of us are channeling through regularly. But what we want to do is move beyond those 7 energy bodies to the higher energy bodies and channeling that consciousness.
Module 3, harness the power of your mind to co-create with divine spirit.
Well, we've tapped in a little bit about the power of our mind. Our mind is very powerful, and it's not about putting the mind down, but it is about understanding how powerful it can be and actually making the mind work for us and not against us. And that's the key to this. So we're really looking at, the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is great. Everyone chases knowledge, but what we really want is wisdom, and knowledge is not wisdom. So we'll talk about how to acquire wisdom versus knowledge. And we're going to talk about surrendering that ego mind, that very busy ego mind, which I know from experience of teaching hundreds of students how to connect with spirit and how to channel, is that one of the biggest issues is going to be the ego mind and how busy it is, and getting that busy mind to stay still. And we'll give you some tools to do that.
Module 4, connect with your heart portal to channel divine wisdom.
One of my favorite ones, Stephen. I love this one because we're going to be really connecting deeply with that heart chakra. We're going to talk about the difference between the heart chakra and the energy of that portal versus the energy of the solar plexus chakra, which is not a portal. And, where a lot of people believe they get their guidance from. And the guidance does, coming from the solar plexus is really coming from your emotional energy and not really from your higher consciousness. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how energy flows, and it isn't linear. We don't actually have a linear energy. Great for our mind, but it's not linear. It's circular and spiral. And we'll talk about what that is and how that works for us, and really how that affects our channel stream. Yeah.
Module 5, bring unresolved karma to the light so it no longer blocks your connection to your divine spirit.
Well, beautiful karma. We're going to talk about what karma really is and how we don't have to fear it. Karma is something that we all hold, and yet it's consciousness. Karma, of course, is consciousness that we hold, and a lot of it's unresolved. It hasn't been brought back to light. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our shadow aspects, and one of our greatest shadow aspects, and how that affects us regularly. And we're going to do some meditation to bring that beautiful karma back to light again.
Module 6, discover your most effective channeling style to connect with the part of your consciousness that serves you now.
Yeah. And Stephen, this is really interesting because there's no strict rule about channeling, about how we manifest it. How we bring it through our stream is important. But then what we need to do is we're bringing consciousness through, higher consciousness, a frequency. Then how do we manifest that into the physical? How do we actually bring it into physical matter? And so we're going to talk about how we do that. And there's numerous ways we can do that. And each one of us is unique about how that will happen. So there's no fast rule for anybody. But we're also going to talk about the blocks that we hold to our channel and to actually being able to bring through that consciousness that we want to manifest into physicality.
And finally, Module 7, transform resistance and fear to say yes to your divine spirit and surrender to your higher plan.
Yeah, well, the masters have always said to me, just say yes. It's one of their biggest messages. And we're going to talk about transformation instead of just change. Change can be on the surface, but we want deep transformation at an alchemical level. That means cellular. So we're going to talk about how you can do that, how you can create that. And, this is not a quick fix, push a button, it's all going to change overnight. This is giving you tools to work with to practice that. And we'll be giving you some practice sessions or homework. We call it changing life work in between each module for you to practice during the week. But it's an ongoing practice. And And it really is a deep practice that you can develop for yourself and sit and really learn to connect with that beautiful higher self of you.
Well, I think it's just a beautiful program that you've created. And again, there's more detail at channelyourdivinelight.com. And it clearly is sourced from an incredible amount of deep transformative experience with this subject material. So I'll share a little bit more about it. So Ishtar is going to teach not only the 7 90-minute live sessions, which gives you time to do interactive practices, receive channelings, open your own channel, as well as do engaging questions. But you'll also get recordings of every session, both video and audio, which are really helpful to go back to. You'll have word for word transcripts. There's weekly practices you can do at home. There's also a community group to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. On the website, you also see there are a number of extra bonuses that Ishtar has been generous in offering into this program. There is a ebook called Book of Love, and you want to share more about that, Ishtar?
Yeah, it's a beautiful little ebook where the masters answer lots of questions about love and what love really is, and it really helps to support you to understand that. So if you're interested in self-acceptance, self-love, then it's a great little book as a guide from the masters, directly from the masters.
Very nice. That's the first bonus. There's also a second bonus that's called Heal Old Wounds and Pain Audio Collection. This is a set of audio teachings from Ishtar. You want to share more about that bonus?
Yeah, that's a nice one from the masters. Live channels again, but came in when I was teaching. And it's really about helping you, from the masters, directly from the masters, different meditations, different tools to help you release what you're holding that could be causing you sadness or pain or fear or any of those things, even a little bit of anger. And so you can let that go.
Great second bonus. And then there's a third bonus that's available just as for those who choose to move forward today until midnight Pacific time. This is another ebook from Ishtar called Healing with the Ascended Masters. So more on that?
Yeah, well, this is actually a book. It's a good sized book. And it introduces you to the universal rays healing modality. It talks to you about the masters, who they are that guide this modality. It teaches you about the universal rays and what they are and how they can heal. And it gives you a little idea of how to set up a soul chart for yourself so you can better understand who you are and what your purpose is here. So it's a great book. It's part of the foundation of our universal rays healing training for practitioners and teachers, and it's a beautiful book to get your teeth into. Yeah.
Well, it's a great extra bonus, and that's available when you sign up by midnight tonight. So Healing with the Ascended Masters. So it's clearly going to be such a powerful program, really liberating, healing, and elevating, and developing skills to really access these higher dimensions of yourself. We've kept the investment very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start on March 5th and run Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. But even if you can't make those live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. There's some beautiful testimonials that really recognize the value and depth of Ishtar's teachings and work, and you can see those on the page. And there's more detail on all the modules and also the bonuses as well. So I always encourage you to really take the time to go to the page, read it through after you've received the blessing of this call, and tune in about your own knowing if this is the right next step. Then you'll get that special ebook when you sign up today. And again, the URL is channelyourdivinelight.com, and the book is Healing with the Ascended Masters. So Ishtar, what a beautiful hour. Thank you for this time and for what you've brought through. Anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the full course with you?
Oh, I'd just like to invite them to come and join me and sit with the masters and really connect with that energy that they are. And it's such a powerful thing to do, and to really honor who you are. I think that's the biggest gift we can give ourselves, is to honor that amazing power of spirit that each one of us is, and to bring that into our life and live it each and every day.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for all you brought through here today, and thank you for the just being a willing, reluctant channel of these masters and to help teach us how to do the same. So thank you, Ishtar, for this time. Thank you all for joining. And again, if you'd like to go further, you can do so at healing our channel, yourdivinelight.com, and you will get the Healing with the Ascended Masters book when you sign up by midnight tonight. So thank you so much, Ishtar. Many blessings all.
Blessings all. Blessings.